can't hear. Hello, how are you?
Hi, Katherine. Can you hear me?
Ah, there we are. Great.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. Katherine, I'll be your host for today.
Fantastic. Great.
How are you? How is Uganda? Where exactly are you?
So I'm in Kampala in Uganda.
That's actually the only place I know, so.
Oh, well, there you go. And where are you? Are you in Abuja or?
No, we're in Lagos. We're in Lagos.
I used to come to Nigeria a lot for work.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I used to work with the international primary curriculum.
Oh, okay, IPC. Okay, so that means were you all coming to Lagos or you were coming to?
I went to Lagos, I went to Abuja, I went to Bonny Island. I went, yeah. So but mostly I was coming to Lagos and Abuja. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was coming, yeah, I was coming every couple of months for a while.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
I love it. I love Nigeria, yeah.
Okay, so if you had to compare the two in terms of weather, in terms of what are the differences you notice?
I mean, considering we're so far away from each other. Hold on, I've just had my dog needs letting in. Hold on. Yeah, considering we're so far away geographically, I think we have a lot in common. You know, characteristically, really. So I sometimes think like I when I'm in Lagos, and I think you're a little bit like your traffic's a little bit worse than us. So I think you're like your go flows are like 5 years ahead of ours.
I'm sure you've not tried Nairobi's traffic. It's crazy.
Yeah, I still think I still think Lagos gets the biscuit. Yeah. Lagos and Jakarta.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, the traffic in Lagos is, I don't want to say it's world class, but it is world class.
I mean, Madam, if you've been to Nairobi, right, Kenya?
Yeah, I've been to Nairobi.
The traffic is crazy over there. They have this very narrow road, so and everybody's trying to get on the road.
Okay, so our problem is that our roads are better.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's but at the moment with COVID, our traffic is like even worse. Like, I don't know what it's like in Lagos, but because all our motorbikes were banned. We're only allowed like 3 people in a car. Our little minibus taxis are only allowed to carry like half the number of people. Of course, everyone's got their own rules too, but like it means the traffic, and then we have a curfew, so everyone's racing to get back at the same time. So it's just at the moment it's hard to leave your area.
Okay, but schools are still closed in Uganda.
Schools are closed. You know, neighbours in Rwanda are trying to open in September. Our neighbours in Kenya have said schools are closed. You know, I hate the term, but they call it a dead year. I hate the term because I don't think you can't be 7 again, or you can't be 8 again, or you can't be 3 again, you know, like, but yeah, so I think we're probably looking at, so our school year goes January to January to December. And I think Yeah.
Oh, so that means you just done the first term. Yeah. What had you completed the first term before?
We've done our first set of fee collection, and now we've missed 3 fee collections. So yeah, we're pretty much it's not a great position for us.
Okay. So I was slightly better because our school term starts in September. So we have done a term and 3/4, so to speak. So we're about to finish the second term before the lockdown happened. Okay.
And is it looking likely that you'll open in September?
Well, I would say it seems likely. Nothing is certain right now. We are all, we're all. Okay. Gita, would you like us to start? It's already,
so let me just make this brief introduction so that we just start once and for all, and then
okay, great.
So we don't keep people waiting. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Titi Adewusi, your regular host, but today we're having a different person to host today's event. I lead the team at Edusko Africa. Of course, you guys know what we do. We're an education marketing company leveraging technology to make life easier for everybody in the ecosystem. So today we're looking at how schools can diversify to increase the bottom line. And then we have no other person than Titi Adewusi to host us today. And then our guest is Katherine Tucker. Titi will do the introduction better. So Titi, I'll hand it over to you.
Oh, okay. Good evening, everybody, wherever you're joining us from. Good evening, good evening. Thank you for joining us on Edusko Africa, our monthly virtual sessions. And today you have a more lively host. That's what I'm going to say. You're going to have a more lively host. This is Titi Adewusi, who's going to be your host for today. I'm one of the 3 female co-founders of an edtech company called Niger Kids, and Niger Kids are into developing educational games for children. We like to call ourselves the fun-loving company because we believe learning should not be boring, but learning should be fun. And we help children, acquire 21st century skills using what they love, games. So welcome everyone. I welcome you. If you have comments, please use the chat. We would be taking questions after. So without much ado, I'm going to welcome our guest for today, Katherine Tucker. Katherine Tucker is an educator. She's been an educator for over 20 decades. Wow, that is awesome. She's a teacher. Yes, you're curriculum advisor, and you're also the director and co-founder of Clarke School, all the way then in Uganda. Uganda is still Africa, so for us that's a woo-hoo, welcome. So your Katherine School, which is Clarke School, it's a mid-cost school that caters for nursery all the way to P7. I would like to think that P7 is like, the equivalent of, is that year 6? Year 6?
Yeah. It's our candidate year.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but Katherine has been an advisor. She's done so much. She was just telling us she's been to Nigeria so many times under the IPC, supporting, doing accreditation. I know that when I looked at just looking at your profile, it's also that you've done accreditation for over 2,000 schools, even way back there, pushing IPC curriculum there in Uganda. So we are honored. Honestly, COVID has changed a lot in the educational space. It's made, talking about diversifying income, it's something that's very, very key right now. I know that I've spoken to a lot of school owners during this time. It's been really trying times because schools have been closed. And what's been interesting is that schools have been closed since March, so what that means is that second term school fees was already collected. Third term, we moved online, but not every school could move online. Not every parent was willing to go online. And even those that went online were not really ready to pay the fee. So it's really been trying times. A lot of school owners, some have just packed up and said, you know what, I'll just pack up and wait till when the government says we can open physical school. And that's especially for those in the nursery. I mean, for those that are doing low-cost school, it's also been a challenge. So this is really something that schools need to hear. So we're very excited to have someone as experienced as yourself coming to tell us how can schools diversify income in these very challenging times, because we don't know when schools will open again. So we don't know how long this is going to be. There's the forecast that this might be till the end of the year. So this is a topic that honestly is very close to my heart. So without much ado, let's use our reaction and just welcome Katherine as she takes over. Okay, please use the button, just give a thumbs up, or we can give a clap, just to welcome Katherine and let her show her some love all the way from Lagos, Nigeria. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here and to be invited to talk to all these amazing educators in Nigeria. I love Nigeria. I've been many times and worked with many different schools in Nigeria. And it's definitely one of my favorite countries to visit. So hopefully it won't be long before we can all meet face to face, but for now, this is how we're doing it. So maybe I should start by just giving a little brief about who I am. I am, first of all, I'm a learner myself, and then I'm a teacher. I'm a trained primary school teacher. I trained in Oxford University in the UK. But I also had a diverse school experience. I went to boarding school in the UK, but I think maybe in my latter teenage years, I was misbehaving. So my parents sent me to Uganda to my auntie's boarding school. And so I spent some time in a prominent girls' boarding school in the 90s in Uganda.
Wow.
Which gave me a love for education in Africa, and where I made many friends who are now they're all in England, and I'm all here. So yeah. I've worked in a number of different schools around the world. I've worked with some NGOs, Safe Children, UNICEF, governments. I worked with what you've probably heard, the IPC, or the International Primary Curriculum, where I was director of professional learning. So I was working with teachers all over the world, and I worked with trying to help them improve student learning. And so at one point, I would probably, something that sounds crazy now with COVID, but I was traveling to 100 different schools around the world, and each week I was in a different country.
Wow.
And I got to meet lots of amazing people, have lots of wonderful conversations about learning, and see lots of different systems and schools. My heart's always lied in Africa. Particularly East Africa, but although I'm always tempted to West Africa too.
I hope when you mean West Africa, you mean Lagos.
Yeah, only. I did live a little time in Liberia as well, but yeah. I first want to start by saying I really do not have all the answers for today's session, and all I can do is talk a little bit about what we've done in our school, and hope it can inspire some ideas, some thoughts, develop some conversations for us to be able to innovate and be creative, and to try and keep learning going, and also to keep your school community going, and and to support your teachers as best you can in this time. So I wish I was a keynote speaker that had all the answers and was going to give you a takeaway sheet with what to do with your schools, but it's a really difficult time, and I don't, and I can only talk from what we've the mistakes we've made and the successes we've had. So pre-COVID, about 6 years ago, having got tired of traveling all around the world, visiting different schools and telling people or advising people how to improve learning, I suddenly thought, gosh, there's an old Dutch saying which says the best sailors are those at shore. And I thought, am I able to now go back into a school setting? And I'm able to, it's very easy to stand there and say, oh, try this, try this, try this. Mm-hmm. But it's a very different story actually implementing it with all the things that are going on every day in your school. I came back to, I had a strong belief that the world is fast changing, and that 85% of what we know about the brain, we've learned in the last 15 years. So what I learned when I was at school or at teaching college is already out of date. Mm-hmm. In Uganda, as I'm sure in many places, there seemed to be quite a strong divide between international school, people choosing international education and people choosing a local education. Mm-hmm. And it has two different meanings. And really the international education meant a modern education, and a local education meant more of a chalk and talk and memory-based education. And I didn't see why we needed to do that. So my vision for our school was to set out a school which is mid-cost. So our school fees are about $400 a term. That could have small class sizes and teach with passionate teachers in a modern, the local curriculum in an international style, so to speak. And so that was the vision 6 years ago. We built the school, we opened with 22 children. And just at the beginning of the school year, because our school year starts in February, at the beginning of our school year, we opened a new block, we got a new bank loan, we thought we were doing so well. We were even thinking maybe it's time to open another school. We opened our first computer lab, and then COVID hit. And I'm sure so many of you, and I'm blessed that we were in a good place, because I know there'll be many people who were in a struggling place and then COVID hit. So in a sense, that's a blessing. But what did we do? Well, we'd already collected some of the school fees for that term, so we felt obliged to continue trying to deliver learning. When I went around the school on the last day of school, I asked the children, how many of you have a computer access? How many of you have internet at home? And about 20% of my pupils were able to put their hand up and say, yeah, we've got that. I went around my teachers and asked them and tried to find out how many of them felt comfortable with a computer, how many of them had computers at home, how many of them had computer access, and the numbers was even less. So as all my colleagues in their international schools were coming up with these great learning programs, I thought, crikey, what are we going to do? So the first thing we did is we set up WhatsApp groups. And I knew with my parent body that really nobody really can check their emails. And the best way for me to communicate with my parent body was via WhatsApp. So we immediately set up WhatsApp groups. And all my teachers had WhatsApp phones, did have phones with WhatsApp on. And because immediately that they had to stay at home, and we delivered learning through taking photographs, sending back comments. At that point, I was still able to pay my teachers. What they saved in transport, they were using for their internet bundles on their phone. The second phase happened when, then the second thing we did at that point as well is I went immediately to one of the TV channels and I spoke to them and I asked them, would they be interested in us delivering a learning program? And they said, yes, yes, yes. Can you do something every single day for 3 hours? And I said, no way. No way can I do that. Because if we're going on television, we're going to be very exposed. And we need to make sure that anything that goes onto television, that we've got exactly the right concepts being taught. Because if we teach the wrong concepts, we could end up doing more damage to ourselves than good. So we ended up settling on one TV show on a Saturday morning. And actually from that TV show, which we were able to start doing quite quickly, that has actually very strangely ended up generating another TV show for us to work on. And what I knew about TV, I would have told you I knew absolutely nothing about TV. And now I'm writing scripts for 2 educational TV shows, and my teachers are involved in both shows. And that has managed to generate us a little bit of income. And we're actually now, sponsors are coming to us, like Latte Milk, who want to sponsor the show. So that's something that was really positive. I didn't particularly plan for it. I thank God for providing me with the opportunity that allowed. So after we did the WhatsApp group and we started a TV show, then our Easter holidays came, and at that point we believed we would be starting term for our term 2, which was in May. And term 2 came, our holidays came, and it started to become more obvious. Someone's asked the TV shows. The TV show was targeted at, and I can send you links to it actually if you're interested. So the TV show that we started with the school was targeted at a family audience. We felt that in our homes in Uganda, and they're probably quite similar in Nigeria from what I know, that homes in Uganda, that most of the children were sitting together as family groups, and it was quite cross age. So what we did is we started with our show. The format for the show starts with a story. Then from the story we take a simple word of the week, and we use blending sounds to blend those words. So a 3-letter word, and we blend the word. We use blending sounds to teach blending. And then we teach a maths concept from lower primary, because we felt that often the maths concepts in lower primary, if they're not grasped in lower primary, as children get older, they suffer. So to re-go over those lower primary concepts. So we did some on division, some on time, some on shapes. And then upper primary, so that's our upper primaries, we did a social studies or science. And then we ended with a quiz. So we did them in different 5-minute segments, so we could then use them as YouTube clips as well. And then we ended with a quiz. So we have something here called the primary leaving exam that has questions in it. So we turned those questions into a quiz, and we did it for the family. So we've actually just finished our 15th show. It had two very good effects doing the TV show. One, it kept us going as a community. Two, mentally it kept us all going, because I think, you know, there's financial keeping going, and then there's like mentally, like making sure that our mental health is taken care of and that we've all still got a sense of purpose. And it's also given us a platform where people can see how wonderful our teachers are, and that they're using maybe more innovative methods for teaching, and that it's quite inspiring, that teachers can sort of be that loving, friendly, caring, and children are wanting to watch our show. And again, we're looking for sponsorships with the big people, MTN, those types of people. So our next stage was that our lockdown was released a little bit, and people who were within a walking distance to the school could come to school. So I started this computer lab that I just miraculously opened, which I thought was for the students. Suddenly I was running social distancing computer lessons for all my teachers. And I actually ran it for my teachers, my cleaners, my guards. Everybody got a chance to be factored into computer lessons. And in fact, that has proved really beneficial, because, and so we've started that. We decided to try and switch our WhatsApp learning onto Google Classrooms. And this, just because we saw it as a more longer term solution. I don't really like Google Classrooms for the Africa market. I think it's designed for American secondary school market, and we're a primary school in Africa. But it's free, so that's why we used it. And if I ever found somebody who wanted to partner with me and develop something that was more specific, I would be really keen. But anyway, sometimes I think the thing I've learned is not to let perfection be your enemy. To help you, very much the message we've been given. With our parents with Google Classrooms, we basically then offered work in 3 different ways. You could pick your work up from school, we could still send it over WhatsApp, or you could collect it from Google Classrooms. And we're pretty much split in how people want to do that. We offer constant support on WhatsApp. Teachers are able to come into school and use our internet, and they're able to provide that WhatsApp. One of the big, and then we do 1 Zoom class a week where we have a topic. So, for example, upper primary topic this week, the children had a research question that was to find out about the former president of Tanzania who had died, and to find out what successes he had, and why they were important. And then they discussed it in their Zoom meetings. So the Zoom meetings were focused, but it wasn't expected that children should just be on the internet all the time. It just wasn't possible with our parents' internet access, and then the child protection issue of children being left alone with computers while parents were now going back to work. I think another another, I think in all of this, as I said, schools are closed, but children need to be educated. Another thing set up was we set up a tutor matching company with our teachers, and actually other teachers have wanted to join that, and for our parents, and matching, which means that I'm now at a position now where sadly at the end of this month, I've gone down from a staff of 50 and I've had to cut right back to staff of 11. I was able to pay part salaries for a couple of months. I had to make those really difficult decisions, as I'm sure many of you are making too, of who's my skeleton team, when I open, who can I absolutely not open without, who do I need to keep on board, and I'm generating just enough income from my online learning. So my online learning, I made the school fees monthly and I reduced them right down. So it's almost, I'm paying 150,000, which is what's that? That's like $50 a month is what I'm paying, is what parents are paying. So that's, and other schools in Uganda have been very criticised for still paying quite high fees, and I think our parents are much more forgiving to us because we're not trying to squeeze for fees. The second thing I'll say with the online learning is we had to really think about how we were posing questions. It couldn't just be sitting at home. We had to start thinking of how to make it into research questions that could happen at home. So for example, we've got Eid coming up, on some questions of, can you find somebody in your community who's a Muslim? Could you ask them some questions? Could you find some things out about Eid? Could you find out why it's important for them? They celebrate it. So we were trying to use the home as much as possible as a learning base. The thing that I think's been really important in the messages that I think what I found is generally parents just need support, and most parents are panicking, and it's really hard. I'm sure you're all parents. You know, I can teach any child in the world apart from my stepson, and me and him, I don't know why I can't teach him. But we just end up either playing or getting annoyed with each other. So we need that sympathy to parents. And we've been very sympathetic, saying even if you're just reading a book every day, that's okay. There's lots of different ways that children learn. There's lots of different ways. You know, you can be teaching them your local language. You can take this opportunity to like teach them maybe something you've always wanted, a way to cook, instrument you've wanted to teach them, you know, or just spending time with grandma is also important. So while we might talk about a dead year, like we also need to understand learning takes place beyond school, and I think parents are very reassured with that. I think as soon as we took off the pressure for the online learning, more parents produce this on this day. But we still had expectations, and we still had some parents who were wanting to be, you know, really meticulous with the way they approached it. We had some parents who found it really hard to find a few minutes to sit down with their children. So it was just encouraging them. So our younger learners get a WhatsApp message every day. Like try and find a cardboard box and try and build a house, or play with, you know, pretend you're going to make a restaurant meal. Or so there's some ideas to stimulate play. and it's actually amazing. Our numbers are I thought our early years, our kindergarten, I thought that parents wouldn't pay for our advice. And we've really done it in a way of just providing advice. And I'm willing to share some of the sort of things we're doing. But really in a way where we're just giving advice on how they can sort of stimulate conversation and play and ideas. I think, as well as that, I think, so we had 300 children in our school when we closed for COVID, and we've got 150 of them actively engaged in either the WhatsApp or collecting work or using. I think it's really important that we don't lose the other 150 children, because not only are we talking about what we can do now while schools how can we generate some income in school, but we're also thinking what happens when we need to reopen, and are our parents, and I'm sure if you know, I'm dreading it, all the conversations I'm going to need to have about money and finances and school fees, and very genuine reasons of people who won't be able to pay school fees and always have done. So I think there's two things. One is so even the parents who are not actively engaged in our program, we're still trying to keep them part of our school community. So we still may be sending them, saying, oh, book week, and book week, you know, we're doing little things that are not the everyday learning, or it's Eid, here's some pictures to colour in for Eid. So maybe once every 2 weeks, we do something for the whole school, regardless of if they're part of our program or not. The other thing I was going to say that we did last week is we were at our midterm, we're midway through term 2, so we're midway through our school year now. And we actually did a midway through term 2, and then we did a certificate. So we gave all our children, and we don't normally do this, but we gave all our children a certificate that said, congratulations, you're halfway through P5, P4, P3, P2, and you're to be specifically commended for keeping your learning going, or for always presenting your work neatly. And there was something specific, and the head teacher's stamp. And that gave us, and then we asked the children to put their school uniforms on, those that still fitted in it, and those who didn't, they could wear something smart, and hold the certificate and take a photo of it, and put it on their social media page. And that's created a huge amount of interest from people. So our kids, it's built our community up. The parents who weren't engaged want to get engaged because they want to get the certificate. I think our parents' biggest fear is that the children will have to repeat a year. So what we're doing is by doing our online program, we're trying to be very exact to show, or when I say online, I actually mean remote, because not everybody is online. Some people are on WhatsApp, some people are collecting work, but we're trying to show that we're covering our curriculum objectives, so we can go to the ministry at the end of this year and say, our children have covered this, there's no need for me to repeat P2 or repeat P3 or however that looks. I think, you know, another part of it is that it's also a time that you need to consider who your markets are. We need to consider that we might be, so I'm a mid-cost school, so I sit in the middle, and I'm having to consider that I'm going to lose, in my mind, I'm probably going to lose half my children because of school fees. They might come back to us, which is really sad. So we're having to start thinking about how do we promote the, like, which are the schools that are more expensive than us will also be losing children, and how can we either build relationships with those schools to say, you know, when a child's when you really know a child can't afford, please send them our way, or how can we start presenting to those parents in those schools exactly what we're doing. I think I'm trying to think what else we've I think something that's really kept me going and kept me motivated is, my belief anyway, is that the school system's a bit broken. It was designed for something in the Industrial Revolution, and I think this is an opportunity for us as a whole world to press reset on education and to have a real think about what learning is, what learning's important, and how can we encourage that as best we can in homes now, and also how can we encourage as best we can when schools reopen. How can we align ourselves so when schools do reopen that we feel that we're the best that we be.
Wow, thank you. That's that's awesome. I don't know if you still want some more.
No, sure there's some questions or and
okay. Honestly, Katherine, as I was listening to you, I took a lot of things from what you said. I like your views on the fact that there's a need to be realistic. So one of the things that you said is that, one, you dropped fees from $400 a term to something like almost $50. So there was a need to be realistic in terms of the fees. The other thing I liked about what you said is that there are 3 levels of what you're doing with the children, knowing that there are people that are different, they have different resources. Because you said you took a survey and found that 20% or less have devices. So I like the fact that, you had, the WhatsApp group, you had the Google Classroom, you had the pick your worksheet from school, and also the fact that you said something really fantastic is the fact that even those that are not participating, even those that are not paying fees, you're still finding ways to engage them ever so often, so that you don't completely lose them. That community is still there. But being realistic, knowing that you still would lose people. But there's the other end of your talk, and which is said that as you are being realistic, saying that you would lose people who would, maybe their income levels have dropped. It also means that other schools that are higher than you, more expensive than you, would have the same thing happen to them. So there lies the opportunity for schools. So to say that if I, a school who has this amount for school fees, I'm losing people, then people that are above that, the fees are higher, are also losing. How do I grab these people? How do I also, so I like that, and those are some of the salient points of what you said, and how do you manage the cost. One of the things I would want you didn't really talk about, and I would like you to give us a bit of information before we start taking questions and asking my own questions as well. You said something about you opened a tutor mentoring company, because you said you had 50 teachers and you had to, of course, let go of some during that period, but you also explored having a tutor, matching company. Can you talk a bit about that and how that is generating income, if any?
Yeah, I mean, I can. I'm really pleased that, because my teachers and all my staff meant everything to me. We started the school together, and they gave me their hearts and souls, and so to have to tell my teachers that I wasn't able to continue paying their salaries when I knew how much pressure was on them anyway with their salaries that I already wished I was paying them double anyway. So it really broke my heart. So I started a tutoring company with the sole aim initially of just wanting to make sure that when I let go of my teachers, that I knew that they had something to be able to survive on. And so, and I think I didn't actually mention that. I think it's really, 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 really important because at some point you will be opening school again, and at some point you will be calling your teachers back. And it's been really important to make sure that that nobody feels like they've been fired here. And it's really, it's really easy to feel rejected when you're no longer working in a place that you loved. So we did to make sure that people still, and we have a WhatsApp group, we continue to send messages, really make people, they're welcome to come into the school, continue for our teachers to believe they're part of our family. And in terms of setting up a tutoring group, it was also, I'm also panicking, which I'm sure that my really good teachers might go and I can't pay for them. So a tutor group has a number of advantages. One, when schools reopen, your teachers back again. Two, is working to their skill set. And three, it's and I can imagine Nigeria is quite similar to Uganda. As soon as our parents were going back to school, our parents were going back to work, it was quite difficult for them to manage homeschooling as well. So that's what we did. We literally, every single member of my staff have ended up with jobs of looking after either taking care of children or tutoring. So at least I sleep well at night knowing that I'm sad that I've had to let people go, but I do know that they've at least way of generating income with it. All my staff are my next stage, if I have the energy, is I've actually had a lot of interest from people from other schools who want to join as well, that we could maybe run some training programs, that we could for the tutors, and we could try and match tutors, and then and have we have an administration fee, which isn't very much at the moment, but if I was starting to scale up on that, I would add the administration fee for teachers outside my school wanting to join, and for people outside my parents' school community wanting to join. I've also had but on our online school, I'm having about 10 students from other schools a week joining me now, because they're so happy. People, parents talk. It's very word of mouth in Kampala. That what's your cousin learning? What are you learning? And the hard work's paid off because people are seeing what we're doing and they're wanting to sign up to our program, even though afterwards they might be in a different geographical place of the city. They might not even be able to come to our school. But what I realised quite early on, which I didn't say, was that I could not compete with what was online globally, because it was just to such a high standard. And what I could do is I could say, I can do something of a high standard that's Ugandan. Yes, so work with the context that you know. Don't think, oh, I can't do it, or that person's got all that experience, they should do it. You know your context, you know the context of your
Oh.
actually take, but put it down to a way that your parent body can understand.
Okay, can I just ask, because we also have someone asking here, so how easy was it for other schools to collaborate in Uganda during this period? Because one of the things that, you know, one looks at as you're trying to diversify your revenue is also what form of collaborations can happen within the schools. Because like what you said, you know, if you come together and have this tutoring companies, and other schools that had to let go of their teachers could have come to me and just say, okay, I also have this, you know, teachers, and then if you can get them placement and all. Was there any collaboration among the various school owners during this time?
Yeah, I mean, interestingly, I think that's almost been the nicest thing, because like the competitive element has gone and people are just all like, what do we do? And so, you know, we've made some really nice links with other schools, and you know, I'm not being precious about what we're doing at all. I'm happy with what we're doing. I'm happy if other schools copy what we're doing. I don't want us to be the only school delivering quality learning. I want other people to be doing it too. You know, I want all children all over the world to get it. That's my aim. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to collaborate because, you know, you can't move around very much. But yeah.
Okay, well, please, you can drop your questions during the chat, and Katherine will take them. Katherine, I want to ask, because I know that for schools that have nursery, you know,
actually.
Okay, for schools that have, you know, nursery, primary, all the way to secondary, then they have what seems like a softer cushion. But there are some schools that are just like nursery, they just, you know, preschool. A lot of parents are of the opinion, what's my child learning? You know, why just put them on, let them just sit at home? So what has happened to a lot of schools in that bracket that are predominantly having younger children? A lot of them have had to even abandon the online learning. So what would your advice be for them in terms of how do they continue to earn revenue, or what should they look at doing in terms of diversifying?
Yeah, so I mean, I would say, I mean, strangely, really strangely, and I didn't expect it at all, that our baby class to our top class, so our 2.5-year-olds to our 5-year-olds, actually the parents have signed up and are the most actively engaged out of all our parents, which I didn't think would happen at all. I think it's because the way we've been sending these messages are very sort of, they're just, it's almost like a daily tip a day on just like one thing you can do to help stimulate a conversation, to help something at home turn into something slightly more learning focused, rather a story or to. I would think about. I don't know how I don't know the rules, the particular government rules that you have, but I think something that
Oh. Katherine, you're breaking. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I can't hear you.
Would be
you're back.
Am I back?
Yes, you're back, but you have to repeat.
Hello?
But, yes, you're back. Yes, I can hear you now.
I would have. So one thing that people want is providing some sort of home.
Okay.
Some trainings for nannies and caregivers at home.
Okay.
And that could either be, I don't know how the rules are, it could either be bringing the caregivers to a central place, or maybe you could look at your teachers being like roaming trainers that go and just check and help create play spaces and help to. Nannies in Nigeria might be like nannies in Uganda, where it's very much, you know, taking care of the child, feeding them, putting clothes on them, but not so much about actually developing conversations, developing talk, thinking of creative, imaginative ideas. So, I mean, that's something that I would consider, certainly.
Okay, I think that's a fantastic idea, because what I hear you say is that if you're dealing with the younger children, you can consider where their parents might be saying they are too young on Zoom, but if they have other caregivers at home that you can then train so that they in turn can then pass on, ensure one form of learning or the other is happening. And it's interesting to hear that you're saying that the younger children's parents are one of the most active. And it was also interesting to hear you say from your online learning, you've actually had people join you, based on the word of mouth that's been going on. So it just also means that there are opportunities. If you are doing the online learning well, the word of mouth will spread, and you might actually find people, joining your school. And I also think that can be the same for schools that people admire during this period. And if the online learning is something, during this period when we are away, schools that people admire, knowing that there is some kind of discount right now fees, it's something that other parents, despite where their location is, might even consider, and that can also be an additional source of income during this period while we are restricted. Okay, let me check the comments.
I can give an example if you want. This is
okay.
This is what was sent out to our 3-year-olds today as a WhatsApp message. Good morning, sweet ones. It's Thursday, the 30th of July, 2020. And guess what? The month has come to an end. Today, we are brushing our teeth with a song. This is the way I brush my teeth. Brush my teeth. So the song is there, and then says, parent, please tell a story about a dangerous situation to your child and how you protected yourself, and then ask your child to maybe talk about a time that they felt they were in a dangerous situation, and then it says, act out pretending to protect mum and dad from danger, for example, a fire or hot tea or hot water. Pretend you're making a call to an ambulance to take them to the hospital. And then it says, write numbers 1 to 10 or 1 to 20. And then, yeah, thank you for your class today. So that's it, very simple. I think I honestly think keeping it simple is the key. So even with our higher learners, we do maths, English, and one other subject a day. That's it. We're not trying to cram it all in.
Did you say you have a question?
Yes. So I was going to ask Katherine, what do you think about working with vendors, solution providers? For schools to cross-sell to parents, right? So we've got solution providers who are really willing to work with some of these schools to cross-sell, right, to parents. And that, of course, has always been like additional source of income to some of these schools. But what are the pros and cons why doing this? Have you done that before? What were your experiences? Do you have something to share in that line? Let us know.
Can you give me an example?
Yeah, say for instance, a tech platform that has a solution for parents, right? I want to collaborate with a particular school to do that, right? Or you've got something very useful for kids or something very useful for parents at home, and you want to get through to these parents through the schools, right? So, and why schools also get a form of like a referral fee, commission, whatever it is, as their incentive. So, do you think this is, because I understand that schools are actually set up to really deliver knowledge. So why they are doing this Do you think there are disadvantages to this? Do you think that they should do this, or do you advise that they just, when people like that come around, just let them go away?
I mean, I think I would just listen to what each person had to provide, and if I agreed with it, I would happily partner. Like at the moment, what I'm trying to do is I'm actually trying to source some tablets at a cheap price, and what I want to do is I want to have you know, the tablets, because what's happening with our online program is that, you know, parents are not that happy about children having access to their phones and to their computers. So we want to lock the tablets with apps that are only educational and only and related to our schools, so the children can just have a free access to that tablet. And we're also trying to negotiate costs with the with the service, with the MTN, to give us a cheap internet deal on that. And I mean, one of the people that I'm looking to, I don't know if this same sort of thing, but I'm looking to link to is like, there's we've got I don't know if you have Jumia food, but we have like this, or Jumia, I think you have it in Nigeria.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. So we have Jumia, so I'm looking to link with Jumia to see if because then they'll, I mean, the bad thing is that they put their app on the tablet, so they get their app in every home. But it does mean on the flip side that we can get our educational program going. So yeah, I mean, you have to balance it out really. I think anyone who's willing to help me get my educational programs and learning in homes, I'm willing to talk to mostly at the moment.
Okay. I don't know. I can't believe we were almost out of time. So, Katherine, what would be your advice, you know, to school owners on the two scenarios? Because, you know, when we first started the discussion, you asked, would we be resuming in September? And the honest truth is that we don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it seems more unlikely than likely. So the question is, how can school owners continue, especially those that are mid-course, that are in situations like you are in, whereby not all the students have you know, access to devices and all that. So what would you be your advice in terms of trying to ensure revenue by, if there are two scenarios, one that school resumes, and the other scenario whereby physical school doesn't resume till January? What can they do? Especially for those that maybe close shop till when physical school was meant to resume, or have had like your own situation where, you know, the numbers have dropped, or not everyone is paying fees.
I mean, I think we have to remember that we are skilled professionals, and we understand, you know, we know how children learn, we understand how learning is. I think we need to remember that parents are panicking because they know their children very well and they love their children dearly, but they didn't sign up to be teachers. And I think we need to remember that the world wants children to be educated. Okay, so I think we need to just keep and so therefore with those things, somewhere in there's a business opportunity for us. because children need to be educated, and we know how to educate them. So it's just that we might have to think outside the box really, and to think about how we can marry those things up. So it's certainly way, and my advice is just try things, stay positive, try things. If it doesn't work, try something else. and keep smiling.
Okay. I would like to ask, apart from your school, are there other ways that schools there in Uganda are, you know, diversifying their income? I know that there was a joke that was going around a few weeks ago where they showed a school in Nigeria that they had turned their school into a poultry farm. So on a more serious note, are there other things that other schools they are doing to beyond the normal tuition and fees to get income?
Yeah, well, we also had a school in Uganda who had turned their school into a poultry farm. I think some schools are turning themselves into quarantine centres and renting out rooms and all sorts of things. So, and I guess those opportunities are just there as they come. And again, you know, you just have to look at what your assets is. If you've got land, if you've got a swimming pool you can open up, you have to look and think what other ways. Maybe it's just opening your field for parking. You know, like what other ways can I try and use my assets differently?
Okay, I think I like that. I like that idea of, you know, look at your assets, and if it's something, if you're in a place where you can actually outsource your, you know, if your school is in a place where you can give out the parking, that's fine. I don't know whether recreational centers have been open. I don't think so in Nigeria. So maybe the swimming is out of it. Wow, it's already 6 p.m. Today, I don't know whether there's an opportunity to take some ending comments and just on some of the wonderful points that, you know, Katherine raised, and I feel that's something that, you know, school owners can learn from. Let's look. Okay. Jide, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. So I think Katherine has said it all. We also have our own experience here something peculiar to our climb in Nigeria. You know, some people have seen is that what works somewhere else might not necessarily work in Nigeria, because we know our people, we know who they are, we know how they want their things done, right? So, and I'm sure some of the school owners who participated into this program are very experienced, right? They know what can really work for them, and they know things that might not, you know, surface at this point in time. So, but if you have questions, you can just drop it at on the comment box, and then Katherine would want to also attend to it. And if you have experience that you want to share, something that we've tried in our school that is working, that you want to share with someone else, please just be free to either make it, put it in form of comment, or you just talk to us. We'll be more than willing to listen to you. Our crowd will be excited to listen to you. Anyone?
Okay. There was an earlier comment I didn't take, and that was from Fis Oludipe. She says, I totally agree that education now needs to be refurbished. The curriculum needs to be updated to take care of learning to suit the child, not the child to suit the curriculum learning. Not the child to suit the curriculum. Learning should go beyond maths, English, etc. But building life skills, innovators, risk takers, entrepreneurs, creative thinkers, more opportunities for children to take ownership of their learning. Okay, thank you. Daniel is saying wonderful presentation, Katherine, so that's for you. Thank you, Daniel. I've taken a lot from what you said, and continue to engage the parents. I think as someone is losing opportunities, actually room for some other person to gain. I think that's one of the things I took from a lot of what you said. While you are losing, some other lower cost schools gain, and while the higher cost schools are losing, some mid-level will gain. And it's important that you're positioning yourself to take that, while also planning on how to transition more and more of your students to online learning, which is what you're saying in terms of trying to get them more tap. But communication is key. To continue to engage. I think continue to make realistic projections, because that's one of the things you said. You said, there's the possibilities that you would lose some of that. So those are realistic those are realistic projections, but you also try and position yourself so that you also gain from, you know, other people. Okay, I don't know, there's a message that's from Labode saying, thank you for this presentation. I've learned more from today's presentation. Thank you very much for everyone that's joining. I think we all need to just continue to collaborate, say what's working, how we continue to help everyone, especially the teachers that are affected a lot during this period of the lockdown. Let's prepare. I think it's also important that a school that's closed doesn't mean you shouldn't be preparing. You should be, you know, educating and training your teachers in anticipation of when school opens and the new skill sets that they would need. You should also be using this time to explore the resources that are available that you can use. I advise schools, don't jump, you know, don't follow the bandwagon and jump, you know, into technology. Use this opportunity to understand what your school, what your student, what your parents need. Use this opportunity to test the resources out there so that when, you know, things go back to the new norm, you're prepared for it.
Sorry, I'm right. I've put my email there in case anybody wants to contact me. So we're asking the name of my school is Clarke Junior School, but actually we started our online school. We started a completely separate school. We called it Crested Online. So I should just write that, Crested Online, and you can look us up and see our online tutors and.
Yeah, I like something that Tom says. Educators can also consider how to, you know, create a living at the time when the schools are unable to afford the salaries. So I think that's, you know, on the final note, because I know that some schools did not do the full blend of subjects. So what happened is that maybe they did the core subjects, math, English, and science, and left out the languages, left out music, left out. What I advise those teachers to do is, they are still people that are interested in those subjects. Why not look for them and then create your own online? So I have people that are providing French lessons to 10, 20 people via Zoom at home that are doing it as, you know, an additional source of income. People are providing Yoruba. I know that people that, and the beautiful thing about it is that when you provide these services, it's beyond your state and your locality. So I know the person that's doing Yoruba lessons, she's doing it for people that are even in Australia, outside the country. And all this year, we never have thought of if this opportunity hadn't come up. So I agree that the school owners will continue to do their best, but even teachers should continue to explore opportunities, because if you have the skill, and that was, Katherine, that's what you said, we're in the business of, that's what we do, that's what we know. And so you continue to look for people that are ready to, you know, take on those skills and those services, even if the school is not being used in the immediate school environment. Thank you, everyone. This was wonderful. This was a wonderful session. Thank you for being with us. Katherine Tucker, thank you. Katherine, you dropped your email. Let me see.
Tucker teacher at yahoo.com. Is up there? Is
it there?
Oh,
email is not there.
I think it went privately. It didn't mean to. Hold on. Let me copy it.
So, yes, and thank you everyone that's joined us. And I'm your host for today. Thank you, Jide, for having me host today. My name is Titi Adewusi of Niger Kids. Thank you, everyone. I hope you took something from today's session, and we'll see you next month. Jide?
Yeah.
Next month.
Yeah, next month. So thank you very much, Titi, for your time. It's been an amazing session with you. Thank you, Katherine, for your time. Really appreciate. We know how busy you are over there in Uganda. Please extend our gratitude to our people. I mean, your family, educators in Uganda. We love them in Nigeria, and let's continue to stay very, very safe until next month. Thank you, everybody who made it possible today. We look forward to hosting you next month. We'll send the information across to everyone as well, like we did this time, and then we can always join. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, you can also check out Niger Kids for fun educational content and resources for your children. So we have over 250 games across all topics, just to make learning fun and engaging. So I'll drop my email and our website. We're also on the store, so you can look Niger Kids, spelled with a 9-I-J-K-I-D-S. Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you, Buki. Thank you, Yesterday. Thank you, Jide, and thank you, Edusko Africa. Africa to the world.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Katherine.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
You can just transfer the hosting to me. I can head it from here.
I didn't even know when you transferred it to me.
Oh, really?
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Oh my. Come on. Were you recording?
Yeah, I did.
So where again do you transfer the? Let me see my own system.
I think it's been done already.
Okay, are you sure?
No, it's not
Thank
done.
you,
So
everyone.
just go to, so where your name is, right? Go to more.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
No, you see it there.
I'm sure I was given, because I don't have the option. Why you record? Okay, yes, you were recording.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Eniola. Thank you, Wumi.
So we're also live on Facebook as well. So I'm sure a lot of people also joined there. Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We're on Facebook.
Oh, Jide, sorry.
You've seen it, right?
Yeah. I didn't even know when you made me host.
Down.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Wumi Katherine Adewusi. Wow, that's my brother-in-law's name is Katherine Adewusi.
Wow.
Yeah. Hello, Wumi. I'm telling you.
All right, guys. See you next time.
Yes, thank you, Jide, for having us.
So,
thank you.
Yeah.
Good to meet you, Titi. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Titi. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.